Hey gardening friends, ready to grow healthier plants, bigger harvests, and smarter gardens? Let's get started.
What if the most powerful plant in your garden was not a rare exotic flower or an expensive shrub, but something that looks almost like ordinary grass growing along the fence? And what if that same plant could repel mosquitoes, boost everything around it, fill your kitchen with incredible flavor, and even put a little extra money in your pocket at harvest time? Welcome back to The Smart Gardener. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss our weekly gardening tips that actually work in the real world. Today we are talking about lemongrass. It is one of the most underrated plants an American home gardener can grow, and most people have no idea just how much value this one plant can bring to their backyard. In this video, I am going to walk you through everything, from choosing the right soil and climate for your area, to feeding your plants the organic way, to harvesting like a true professional. And I will share one gardening secret about lemongrass that most growers never talk about. Stay with me, because this one is going to change the way you look at your garden. So let us start with the very first question every gardener should ask before putting anything in the ground. Is lemongrass actually going to survive where you live? The good news is that lemongrass is more flexible than most people think. If you live in USDA hardiness zones 9 through 11, which includes states like Florida and California, you can grow lemongrass right in the ground and leave it there all year long. It will come back stronger every single season. If you are in zones 7 or 8, do not worry. Just grow it in a container, bring it indoors before the first frost hits, and set it back outside when spring warms things up again. Now, wherever you are, lemongrass needs at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight every day. No shade, no shortcuts on that one. For the soil, you want something loose, rich, and well-draining, with a pH somewhere between 6.0 and 7.0. Before you plant, work in about 2 to 3 inches of compost into the top layer of your soil. That one step alone makes a huge difference in how fast your plants take off. Space your plants at least 24 to 36 inches apart, because lemongrass does not stay small. It grows into full, bushy clumps that spread outward over time. And here is one of my favorite tips for anyone just getting started. You do not need to spend money on starter plants at a nursery. Just head to your local Asian grocery store, pick up a few fresh stalks with the base still attached, and place them root end down in a glass of water. In about 2 weeks, you will see roots forming. Once those roots are about an inch long, they are ready to go straight into the soil or into a 5-gallon pot on your porch. It is that simple, and it costs almost nothing. Now that your lemongrass is in the ground, the next thing that will determine whether your plants thrive or just survive comes down to 2 things: how you feed them and how you water them. And this is where a lot of home gardeners get it wrong. Lemongrass belongs to the grass family, which means it is a heavy nitrogen feeder. It pulls nitrogen from the soil constantly to push out all those tall, beautiful stalks. If you are not replacing that nitrogen regularly, your plants will slow down and start looking thin and weak. The best approach, especially if you plan on eating or cooking with your lemongrass, is to go fully organic. Compost tea is one of the most effective options out there. You simply steep your compost in water, and the result is a liquid packed with nutrients and beneficial microbes that your soil absolutely loves. Apply it once a week during the active growing season, and you will see the difference. Well-rotted manure is another excellent choice because it releases nitrogen slowly and steadily, while also improving your soil structure over time. If your plants need a quick nitrogen boost, blood meal is a high-powered natural option that works fast. And if you prefer something gentler, fish emulsion is mild, effective, and completely safe for edible plants. For feeding frequency, stay consistent from June through September. If you are using dry granular organic fertilizer, look for an NPK ratio around 10:6:4 and follow the label instructions. If you are working with compost, apply no more than 1 inch of well-composted material per 100 square feet of garden bed. Stop all fertilizing about 8 weeks before your first expected frost, so the plant can prepare naturally for winter. For watering, think deep and infrequent. 1 thorough watering per week is far better than light daily sprinkles. You want the water to reach the roots, not just wet the surface. That said, never let your lemongrass sit in waterlogged soil, because soggy roots will rot quickly. If you notice your plants starting to droop and dry out during a heat wave, do not panic. Just give them a good deep watering and be patient. Lemongrass is remarkably resilient and will bounce back fully within about 2 weeks. To help hold moisture in and keep weeds down at the same time, spread a layer of mulch about 2 to 3 inches thick around the base of each plant. It is one of the simplest things you can do, and it makes a noticeable difference all season long. Here is the part of this video that most lemongrass growers never talk about, and honestly, it might be the most valuable thing I share with you today. Most people think of lemongrass as just a cooking herb, but experienced gardeners know it is so much more than that. Lemongrass contains natural citronella oil, the same compound used in outdoor mosquito repellents, and that oil works around the clock right there in your garden. It quietly repels mosquitoes, whiteflies, and aphids without you having to spray a single chemical. That alone is worth growing it for. But the real magic happens when you think strategically about what you plant next to your lemongrass. This is called companion planting, and it is one of the oldest and most effective gardening techniques there is. Plant basil and cilantro nearby, and you create a natural, fragrant barrier that attracts beneficial insects while driving away the harmful ones. Grow beans alongside your lemongrass, and those beans will fix nitrogen directly into the soil, which means your lemongrass gets a natural nutrient boost without any extra fertilizer. Tomatoes and peppers are also excellent neighbors, because they thrive in the same full sun, warm conditions that lemongrass loves. So they support each other naturally. And if you add a border of marigolds around your lemongrass bed, you get one more layer of protection against aphids and soil nematodes, plus a beautiful pop of color that makes your whole garden look intentional and cared for. The result of doing all of this together is a garden that practically defends itself. Beneficial insects move in, pollinators like honeybees are attracted to the area, and the overall fruit and vegetable yield of everything growing nearby goes up. Experienced gardeners have known this for decades. Now you know it too, and you can put it to work in your own backyard starting this season. Now let us talk about the moment every gardener looks forward to, and that is harvest time. Knowing when and how to harvest lemongrass the right way makes a significant difference in both the flavor you get and the long-term health of your plant. You are ready to harvest when your stalks are at least about 12 inches tall, and the base of each stalk is at least half an inch thick. Before you cut anything, here is a simple test that experienced gardeners use. Gently pinch or scratch the base of a stalk with your fingernail. If a strong, bright citrus fragrance hits you immediately, that stalk is at peak flavor and ready to go. If the scent is faint or barely there, give it another week or two in the sun. When you are ready to cut, use a sharp knife or simply grip the stalk firmly and pull it cleanly from the base. You want to get that swollen white bulb at the bottom, because that is where all the flavor is concentrated. Always harvest from the outer stalks first, and never take more than 1/3 of the plant at a single time. New growth will emerge right from where you harvested, so your plant keeps producing for you all season long. One important safety note here: lemongrass leaves are razor sharp along the edges, so always wear a good pair of garden gloves before you reach into the clump. Once you have your harvest in hand, the preparation is straightforward. Peel away the tough, fibrous outer layers until you reach the pale, tender inner core, then slice it thinly, just like you would a green onion. To keep your fresh lemongrass at its best before using or sharing it with others, soak the stalks in clean water for 30 to 60 minutes. That simple step locks in the moisture and keeps everything crisp and fragrant, even in warm weather. If you end up with more than you can use right away, do not let any of it go to waste. Chop the stalks into small pieces, place them into an ice cube tray, fill with water, and freeze. Those lemongrass cubes will keep their flavor for up to 6 months, and you can drop them straight into soups, curries, or teas whenever you need them. The dried leaves are wonderful too. Just hang them in a warm, dry spot for a few days, and you will have a gentle, fragrant herb for brewing homemade tea or adding depth to broths all through the winter. So let us bring it all together. Growing lemongrass successfully comes down to 3 things. First, start with the right soil and the right location for your climate zone. Second, feed your plants with organic nutrients consistently through the growing season. And third, think smart about what you plant alongside your lemongrass so your whole garden benefits. These are not complicated steps, but they make all the difference between a plant that just survives and one that truly thrives. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever grown lemongrass before? Maybe you have a tip of your own or a question about getting started. Drop it in the comments below because this community learns best when we share with each other. If you found value in this video today, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you are subscribed to The Smart Gardener with notifications turned on so you never miss what is coming next. Because at the end of the day, a small garden, a pot of something fragrant simmering on the stove, and the quiet satisfaction of growing it yourself, that is one of the simplest and most rewarding things life has to offer. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.